Hello and welcome to a very special Decarb Connect podcast. We're here on site at Decarb Connect UK in Manchester, my hometown. So very pleased to be here and joined by Simon Smith from Frazer-Nash. Simon, can you start by just introducing yourself and Frazer-Nash?
Certainly, was delighted to be here. Obviously, it's our return to Decarb Connect, so great to be back and running a round table. My role is Senior Business Manager for the process and manufacturing sector within Frazer-Nash, so I look after heavy process industry, chemicals, LNG clients and the like.
Excellent. And what are you specifically doing in terms of supporting those clients that are looking to decarbonise?
So we're helping them in a variety of ways, from decarbonisation assessments and strategies, carbon emissions assessments, scope 1, 2 and 3, helping them build the strategy, and particularly also looking at technology options, so helping them work through what they might do, how that might integrate with existing systems and manufacturing processes and what the payback will be, etc.
Mm-hmm. And on those technology options, what sort of trends are you seeing in terms of the interest from those clients from different sectors? And which of those technologies are you seeing having the biggest impact?
Well, obviously we're now getting carbon capture being reasonably well established as a technology. Obviously that's been in existence in the oil and gas industry for a long time. And our parent company KBR have been doing that and deploying that for a long time, including CCUS Northern Lights project, for example. So that's obviously moving forward well. Hydrogen's coming along, but obviously people are concerned a little bit about price, etc. And direct air capture is becoming established in the US. We see that probably playing a part going forward. So when we're talking to clients, obviously we look at any of those options for them, offsetting some of their emissions, or starting to look at their the engineering of their particular manufacturing process to see how we can reduce the carbon emissions associated with those.
Okay, and so here in Manchester, you've just wrapped up a roundtable discussion. So we're a fan of this format because it gets people talking in smaller groups and really focusing and then taking a deep dive on a particular topic. Can you tell me a bit more about your session and really why you were looking at those small modular reactors?
Yeah, certainly we were delighted with the engagement that we had. A lot of questions people were asking. They're certainly interested in the topic. It's obviously relatively new, small modular reactors. Frazer-Nash does a lot of work with the nuclear regulator, the large conventional nuclear power operators, but also SMR developers. So we see this as something coming to the fore, and particularly with the government now announcing planning reforms to make it easier for SMRs to be deployed and established and operated. We expect this to now take off over the next few years. So that's why we particularly wanted to put that on the table, talk to people about it and gauge the interest and so on.
What was the interest like?
Well, pretty good. I think people obviously see inevitably it's another new technology. You know, people see issues. Safety wasn't particularly raised as an issue. More, to be honest, economics and lead times probably the main concern. I think otherwise people would see it as integrating into an industrial complex, much as a CHP plant does at the moment.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of looking at the commercials and the pricing issue a couple of times already. I think that's something we're seeing in Decarb Connect. You know, it's not just about reducing carbon emissions, it's reducing those costs, looking for those efficiencies. Sometimes it's not the most exciting things that need to be focused on. Other times they are looking at completely new technologies.
I think with all these things, people have got a challenge making the business case. You know, we've heard that time and again, so that's not going to go away. But obviously in the background you've got carbon taxes and prices, which have got to be dealt with in due course, which will start to make the case. But it is difficult for people to justify some of this expenditure. But obviously we look to the government for different business models which support that, and we'll see what happens in this situation with SMRs. Okay.
So in terms of your experience here at Decarb Connect, what's you found most valuable in terms of the people you've met, the things you've heard?
I think again the presentations have been insightful. The panel discussions have been very useful and interesting. People, bringing their experience together, discussing things. And obviously, talking to people in the networking sessions have been great. Find out where people are up to and what the issues are that they see. So it's been very, very useful for us as a sponsor to get that kind of feedback. understand where people are. So it's been great.
Great. Well, thank you for chatting to us today.
That's a pleasure.
For anyone who isn't here with us in Manchester, we have events coming up in June. We have the Decarb Connect Europe in Amsterdam. We have Decarb Tech Invest for the first time in London. And you can find out more of that information on the website. So thank you for joining us.